Yo YouTube, what's up? I'm Tim. This is a Kashkelly and AC Sports Report, and I'm making my first week power rankings video. I made this a few weeks back, and I told you guys I was going to try and update this weekly. So basically, here's where we're at. I know that the Royals are 3-1 and the Orioles are 3-0, but I'm going to try and be real with these picks, and I just don't think that that's very realistic to think that those teams. I think the Orioles could maybe do something. I mean, the Royals, let's calm down here. They started off hot a few years ago, and then they ended up going like 60 and something. So I'm going to leave them out of this. Let's start at number 10. I'm doing 10 through 1 like I always do. Number 10, Los Angeles Dodgers. I told you guys the Giants were going to get off to a slow start. They did it, losing 3 of 4 to the Dodgers, and I'm not a Giants hater. I've gotten that a couple times now. I am not a Giants hater at all. I picked the Dodgers here at number 10 because I think right now they are the 10th best team in baseball. The Giants are a better team, of course they are. But the Dodgers have a nice team. If Matt Kemp can continue to play the way he is, Clayton Kershaw is playing tremendously right now, or pitching. Chad Billingsley's a pretty solid number 2 starter. The Dodgers have a pretty deep staff. Maybe not great number 2 or number 3 through 5, but they have good number 3 through 5 and guys that have gotten it done before. So I think the Dodgers will at least win 83, somewhere in that area, but I don't think they'll win much more than that. Number 9, I have the Blue Jays, and if you're asking me who has a better chance to make the playoffs, Blue Jays or Dodgers, it's certainly the Dodgers. That being said, though, I think the Blue Jays play in a much tougher division, and I think the Blue Jays next year could really make a run at this division. And we're starting to see the pieces. Jose Bautista already has a few home runs. They gave Joe Nathan a hell of a time the other day. I mean, this team at 2-1, I really see this team doing big things. I do. And next year, we saw it with Kyle Drabek yesterday. They have a lot of talented young pitchers on this team. We'll see where that goes, but I think they have a good team. Number 8, Cincinnati Reds. Maybe I underjudged this team a little bit. Then again, we are only 3 games through the season, and they played a Brewers team that did not really show up too well, did they? 3-0. The thing for me that still gets me is I think they had a lot of overachievers last year. Johnny Gomes, Scott Rowland overachieved, and I know Rowland's a very good third baseman, but he is also like 34 or 35 years old. And I think their pitching is overrated. And I'm going to pull up some stats for you guys here. Let's start with Bronson Arroyo. This guy had a nice season last year, but I think he's overrated. And I don't think he's an ace on a legit team. I mean, the first start he has a 3.86 ERA. That's not very good, especially not for your relief. Yeah, last year he ended up with a 3.88 ERA. I mean, he's a good pitcher, but he's not the best or an ace on a legit team. Volquez is underachieved. You can go into his stats from last year, but he wasn't really healthy last year. And Cueto, still waiting for this guy to be the legit pitcher we all thought he was going to be. He's a good pitcher, but he's not quite where I thought he was going to be. Number 7, you got the Braves. I think looking at the Braves, hey, they've started off hot. I think the only reason I didn't pick them to be in the playoffs was just a lack of spots. And I think looking back on it, had I made my preview now where I knew that Wainwright was going to be off the season, I'd probably switch it to the Brewers winning the division and the Braves winning the wild card. Back end of their bullpen, I know it has tremendous stuff, but there's some young guys in Kimbrel and Venners. Kind of scares you a little bit. Chipper Jones, I read an article on Bleacher Report the other day. This guy's back and better than ever. I think, considering he's 38 years old and he's won an MVP before, I wouldn't quite say that. But, you know, if he can stay healthy, he's still been productive. There's some questions in that rotation. I mean, Tommy Hanson has great stuff, but, you know, he kind of disappointed last year. Freddie Freeman playing first base, you know, we'll see. He's a rookie. Number 6, and I forgot to pick a number 16 there. My bad. We will throw in, I mean, I still think the Brewers are a good team. I think Prince Fielder's going to have a big year. I think once they get Greinke and Markham back, this will be one of the better pitching staffs in baseball. I know that looking at this team right now, they're probably not the best, but I think while it might be a slow April, it's going to be a good season for them, and they're going to make a run this season. Number 5, we got the Boston Red Sox. Hey, they're 0-3. I know that. I'm not stupid. The bottom line, like I said, Adrian Gonzalez is tearing it up right now, and Carl Crawford's not going to go 0-7 the rest of the season. I mean, this guy is going to be a tremendous player for this team. John Lester is always a slow starter. The Red Sox are still my pick to win the World Series. Number 4, we got the White Sox. They have started off pretty well at 2-1, second place in their division, half a game out of everyone's World Series pick, the Kansas City Royals. But I think the White Sox end up winning this division. Again, I mean, if Peavy can stay healthy and get back to the form he was at, there's no telling where this team can go. Because I think Jake Peavy, when he was on, I mean, this guy was one of the best, if not the best, pitchers in baseball. We'll see. I mean, obviously last year he did not pitch well, but I think he has the potential there to get back to that form. They got some fairly good starting pitchers, and they need Burley to have a better season this year. Number 3, we got the Texas Rangers. I think looking at the Rangers, I told you guys they had the best offense in baseball, and the run differential shows it. Over the Red Sox, they had a +15 run differential. This team really hit in that series. Adrian Beltre had that monster grand slam. Ian Kinsler started off the first 2 games with home runs. If Kinsler can stay healthy, this team's in good shape. I think the biggest problem for them has been staying healthy. Again, though, the reason that I don't think they'll repeat as AL champions is simple. I don't think they have the pitching depth. I mean, even if they had Lee, I'm not sure they had the pitching depth. Losing Lee, definitely not. Number 2, I got the Yankees. I mean, another team that doesn't have the pitching depth, but the bottom line, Mark Teixeira has been sending a few text messages to right field, as John Sterling likes to say. And, hey, I mean, if he can start off fast, here's another guy who's a slow starter. If he can continue to hit at this pace, they're in good shape. I know ESPN has them at number 1, but again, the pitching for me is not good enough. Number 1, your town, your team, your Philadelphia Phillies, as Tony Bruno would say. And hey, I mean, the pitching staff has been just as good, if not better than advertised. Halladay pitched well, 6 innings threw too many pitches. Lee spanned 11 and 7 innings, gave up 3 runs. He can do better than that. Oswalt pitched great. Hell, man, it's the 4th game and Cole Hamels hasn't even pitched. Joe Blanton's been an ace for teams before. And to top it all off, questions are starting to be answered with this offense. And I'm not going to... I still think the Red Sox are going to win the World Series, and I'm not going too far into this. But they scored 21 runs. Ryan Howard isn't starting slow. He's batting like .538 with a home run and 6 or 7 RBIs. Jimmy Rollins is tearing it up. I mean, Wilson Hard Knocks Valdez, as I like to call him, is doing well. Ben Burning Fire Francisco is doing well. I mean, hey, right now, Phillies are the best team in baseball. If this offense hits like this, I don't think there's any question who the best team is. I'm just not sure they're going to continue to hit like this. So, that's your power rankings. I'm Tim. Leave yours. I'll see you later.